Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a great day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about 8 productivity hacks for software engineers. All right, 8 clean productivity hacks that will help you not only with your productivity, buy back your time, and also getting things done. Who doesn't want to get things done and have things linger week to week? It's annoying, right? If you're a developer that's dealing with just distractions, whether you work from home or in the office, just having that accountability, going through these particular habits will help you with staying on track and staying focused. I know for a fact I get bombarded by notifications every day, whether it's email, personal messages, and sometimes that can just take a hit. You know what I'm saying? So what I do personally, and we're coming up on number 1 here, but what I do personally is I set 4 hours of deep work every single day. That 4 hours, I'm working on projects that I need to get through. I'm working through a bunch of different things that I plan on getting done for the week. It's very important that you prioritize your time to work on a particular thing, whether you're getting notifications and all that stuff, just shut up. Deal with that. Shut up. I'm dealing with this right now. I got to focus on this. If someone tries to call you, it's like, listen, I'll call you back because I'm working on this. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is using a timer. You can use a timer on your computer. Just set it to 25 minutes instead of doing 4 hours, which I know is a lot for people who hasn't started this habit yet of deep work. Just put in 25 minutes to just sit there and code and figure things out, you know, because if you're always constantly being bombarded, you're never going to get anything done. So at least having that accountability of that time for 25 minutes on, 30 minutes on, 10 to 20 minute break and get back to it, you should do fine. And having that cadence of building up that habit will actually get you from like an hour on to 20 minutes off. And then you can start really focusing on what needs to be done every single week. Number 2 is, automate all of the boring stuff that you have to deal with every single day. If you have to get your environment set up, automate that, create a bash script for it. If you have an extension to figure out, for example, in your IDE, I use Visual Studio Code personally, but in Visual Studio Code, I'll use GitHub Copilot to help me understand exactly what's going on in the file if I haven't had the chance of really analyzing the code. It just gives me a synopsis of what's going on in that file. Also using extensions like Prettier to format your files. If you're big on formatting the way you code, just use an extension like Prettier to do it. Why would you go about doing all these indentations, these backspaces, these spaces, just so that everything is aligned? Use Prettier to handle that. If there's a lot of to-dos in your project that you need to get through, use a to-do highlighter extension that will highlight all the to-dos in your project. Also, GitLens. GitLens is pretty good in understanding commit history. What's going on? Who made this change? So you're not asking people like, yo, did you make this change? No, who else did it? Listen, bro, if you figure this out, figure out different extensions that will work for you, and that can help with your productivity. Creating scripts to automate your environment to be set up correctly also takes a lot on you. Also, using a password manager for different third-party applications will help with that as well. You know what I'm saying? You could use a built-in one for Google, or you could use something like Keeper or LastPass to do all that stuff. So if you're able to do that, you're gonna save a lot of time with authenticating to all these third-party apps and figuring things out. You're gonna have a better time of just getting straight to work as opposed to, all right, I gotta go through all these steps to do it. I kind of already talked about number 2 and number 3 together. So you can automate the boring stuff and use extensions, all right? Number 4 on this list is write it before you build it. Just write out in Persuado code what you're gonna be building based on the project that you're working on. Look at the stories that you already have that define what the feature is going to be about. Start putting together a list of what should be focused on first. Look at the requirements for that story and start working through it. And then once you get that part done, work on the second thing, the third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth. That should help you understand exactly what needs to be done. Just going through the requirements and just starting from any point within the stories is just going to cause confusion and you're not going to know what the heck is going on. Okay, so understanding the project in terms of what needs to be built, the features, look at the stories of what is critical first and go through whether it's the hardest task or the easiest task. Work on that stuff first and start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And you're gonna notice that you're gonna get a lot more done if you do it this way and not just going through the list like, all right, this is the first story in the list, I'm gonna do this is the second story. It gets boring after that, right? And then you might be confused because the requirements doesn't make any sense. So just read through the requirements first, pick out the stories that make sense, and you'll notice that your productivity goes way up by just doing that one small thing. Number 5 is, like I said, I always get notifications on a lot of stuff and I'm like, get out of here. Do the same thing. Batch all your interruptions to where if you're working on something, just work on it as much as you can. If it's something that's urgent, they'll probably give you a call and be like, hey, can you really help with this? But if it's something small, you notice that, I'll get to that later. You want to focus on whatever you want to get to, because if you see, God forbid, you go and answer that email or you go and answer that notification and you go back to your work, you're not going to remember what's going on. You're not going to remember where you left off. So to mitigate that, any notifications that you get, push it to the side, bro. Just fuck out of here. Just push it. It's always going to be there. And then once you have some time, start answering all your notifications. Trust me, this saves a lot of time. Number 6 is highlight the important tasks that you have to do for the week. I personally do this every single week. If there is a project that I need to get through, what are some of the stories that I have to look into, you know? And then I'll have it listed in like my notes. I need to work on this story, then this story, then this story. And I make sure I'm only focused on that project, that particular piece of the project. I'm not worried about other projects until this one is done. So a lot of people, what they would do if a project's too complex, they'll go to a different project and start working on it. Then when they go back to the original one, they're lost. Why would you do that? Why would you context switch like that? Focus on one project at a time. Understand what the important tasks are. Get that out the way. Then all the easy stuff should be easy enough to do. And you're gonna notice working on the hardest thing first in that task list is gonna set you up for success later down the week. Number 7, if there's something that needs to be refactored in the code and you're looking at it, you're like, yo, I gotta refactor this, bro. This is hot garbage. Refactor it. If it's something small, refactor it. If it's something big, bring it up to your manager, the tech lead, the seniors, whoever you're working with, like, hey, can we refactor this? Is there any impacts on this? They can help you analyze the code, figure it out. And if there's a huge impact, we got to talk, we got to figure it out, we got to prioritize it, all right? You don't want to just go about refactoring a whole bunch of stuff, because at the end of the day, you thinking that you're doing a good thing, you're actually adding more problems and more issues because you didn't test other areas of the product. It might have been like the one area that you're working on, that might be peachy clean, squeaky clean. But then other areas that are using the same thing, it's a problem. You got to look into that. You have to tread lightly whenever you're doing refactoring. Get feedback first. And just don't go willy-nilly and do it. It's going to cause issues, I'm telling you. And then the last thing is very important and is underrated, and it's something that I had to learn. I had to do a lot of research on it, is feature flags. Feature flags save you so much time. Say, for example, if you have a feature that you've been working on for months, without a feature flag, you have to wait till that feature is completed before you actually check in that code for people to start using. That is an issue in itself because you don't know how long that testing is going to take. My advice to you is to look into feature flags to where you could lock down a feature before it actually goes out into production, to where only the right amount of people or the right people that has an access to a role should see it, whether that's the internal team, whoever. It doesn't have to be dev complete, as long as you're checking in small chunks of that feature and it's behind a feature flag, you now have a peace of mind that whatever I checked in to the dev and QA environment is behind the feature flag, is turned on for those environments, but it's turned off for production. I don't have to worry about that code being in production and causing issues. I don't have to go worry about creating a hotfix for it. You know what I'm saying? Feature flags like using a feature flag system like Launch Darkly, by far is the best one I've used. I mean, it's super easy to set up for your project. All you have to do is just create a feature flag as a wrapper around feature that you're building, and you should be good to go. Just make sure that you have it configured for your project, that you could turn it on in different environments. You should be straight. It gives you more accountability that only these people have access to it and no one else should have access. And you can gain more data back by people actually using it, all right? But if you haven't used feature flags yet, use it to your advantage, I'm telling you. I'm gonna have links in the description for the different feature flag systems that are out there. Also, I created a video on feature flags to give you the whole blueprint of why feature flags are very important. So click on that annotation, bro. Check this out. Let me know what you feel about it and whether you're gonna use that in your code. But that's it, guys. Those are the 8 productivity hacks that you can use today as a developer to get better, to buy back your time, and then also just get things done, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one wants to be bombarded on stuff all the time. I hate that. And then I have to go back and try to figure things out. I can't do it. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If there's anything that you're using today that's helping you be more productive, please share it with us. All right? We'll talk soon.